Hello everyone, welcome back to our Python GUI programming series with Tkinter. In this video, we'll explore widgets, which are the building blocks of Tkinter GUIs. Introduction to widgets. Widgets are elements such as buttons, labels, entry widgets, etc. that make up the user interface of a Tkinter application. Let's start by creating a basic Tkinter window with label, a button, a widget, entry widget, a check button, a radio button, and a list box. So, creating and customizing the widgets. To label a widget, use label class and specify the parent window and the text to display. If you have not watched the previous video on how to install Tkinter, I will pin the link to the video in the description below. Now let's get started. Label equal to tk.label, and inside the method we can pass the root text equal to hello Tkinter. Now label.pack. Next, let's create a button widget. Buttons can have text or images, and you can specify a command to be executed when the button is clicked. Let's write the program. Define button underscore clicked. The method name can be anything. Now inside this method, let's type in label.config and pass in the text, which is equal to button clicked. And let's define the button by button equal to tk.button and pass in root, the text click me, and the command button clicked, and pack this into the window by adding button.pack. So this code creates a button widget with the text click me and sets up a command button clicked to be executed when the button is clicked. The command changes the labeled text to button clicked. Let's run the program. So our next widget is an entry widget, which allows user to enter text. You can customize the appearance and behavior, such as setting a default text or restricting input. Let's type in this program. Entry equal to tk.entry and pass in the root, and the width is equal to 30. And let's pack it using entry.pack. Now define the method get underscore entry underscore text, and inside the method let's pass in the text equal to entry.get, and label.config is given as text equal to whatever text to be entered to get the user input, and then let's call the submit button equal to tk.button and pass in the information root, the text may be submit, and the command, whichever command we want to execute this method, that is equal to get underscore entry underscore text, the method that we just created. Now let's pack this using submit underscore pack button dot pack. So this code creates an entry widget and a button. When the button is clicked, the get entry underscore text function retrieves the text entered in the entry widget and updates the label with that text. Let's run the program. So this is the result. Now let's keep adding widgets. The next one is adding a check button, which allows user to select or deselect an option. To do this, let's type in this code. Check underscore var is equal to tk.int var Then check underscore button equal to tk dot check button method and pass in the root, the text, say check me, and the variable is equal to the variable that we just created, check underscore var, and then pack it into the window using pack method. We can give it as check underscore button dot pack. Now let's create a method, define check underscore button underscore clicked, and inside the method let's do some if else programming. If check underscore var dot get method is equal to 1, then the label dot config will pass in the text as checked, else unchecked. So during the click of the button, we want this method to be executed. So let's click check underscore button dot config and pass in this command, the method that we just created. So this code creates a check button and a corresponding variable check var, and the check button clicked function updates the label based on whether the check button is checked or unchecked. Now let's run the program. Let's check and uncheck. This is the result. Now let's go on to creating radio button, which allows user to select one option from a group of options. So let's type in the code. Let's create a variable radio underscore var is equal to tk dot string var, and then radio underscore button 1 is equal to tk dot, it's called the method, inbuilt method, radio tk dot radio button, and just pass in the root, the text that we want to display, say option 1, and the variable which is a radio var, and the value which is option 1. So let's pack this radio button using radio underscore button 1 dot pack. Similarly, let's create for another button. Now let's move on to the definition of the method. So define radio underscore button underscore clicked, and then inside the method let's add selected option equal to radio underscore var dot get, and next just add the label to get the user option, label dot config, text equal to the selected option, and pass in that selected option into this config. Now let's call the method using radio underscore button dot config, and in the command let's pass in the method. Similarly, we'll create for radio underscore button 2. So this code basically creates 2 radio buttons and a corresponding variable radio var. So the radio button click function updates the label with the selected option whenever a radio button is clicked. Let's execute this code. You can see the 2 buttons. Finally, the list box widget. So this displays a list of options from which users can select. So to do this, let's type in the code. List box equal to tk dot list box, pass in the root, then list box dot pack. So this helps to pack our list box into the window. Then let's write in a for loop. For item in option 1, option 2, option 3, list box dot insert tk dot end, comma, the item. Now let's define the method. Define list box underscore selected and pass an event into the method. So inside the method we have selected item equal to list box dot get, and There we get the cursor selection. So the selection has to be option 1, 2 or 3. And then label.config inside where we get the text the selected of the selected item. Then let's use listbox.bind method to get the selected option and pass in the method. So here it creates a list box widget with 3 options, and the list box selected function updates the label with the selected items from the list box whenever an item is selected. Let's run the code. This is the result. So in this lesson we have learned about various widgets in Tkinter and how to create and customize them. Widgets are essential for creating interactive GUI application in Python. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more Python GUI programming tutorials with Tkinter. Please like and subscribe to our channel.